Okay, we can start, sir.
1 minute, sir. 1 minute.
Okay. Good evening, students from EEE department as well as the ISA and other departments of NHCE. I warmly welcome the today resource person, Mr. Arun Shankar, who is working as a senior technical testing engineer at R&D department at Danfoss Industries Private Limited. On behalf of the management as well as the principal and head of the department of NHCE, I warmly welcome you, sir, for this program. And now he is going to explain about what are the experimental details, that is how they are going to test it, the drives, software testing for drives applications, which will be involved in the Danfoss Industries. And now he is in this R&D department. Now he is going to explain the procedures and what are the infrastructures they have. Okay, it is like a virtual industry meet. Now the time is 4:55. It will be start the program now. Okay, it will be end up by 4:45. Okay, thank you, sir. Now we can.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thanks for the warm welcome. Maybe my audio is clear, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's clear.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, so probably yes, for some of the students, I already had a session 2 days back actually. So for them, they had a brief introduction about what is Danfoss, everything actually. So the new students actually, Danfoss is mainly a company that makes drives, like what you see it in the ABB, Siemens, they make drives, right? So it is one of the leading company for making the drives next to ABB. So we make variable frequency drives. That is a box that converts fixed voltage into a variable voltage and variable frequency. So that will be used for controlling your electric motor actually. So that is a major production of Danfoss. So apart from that, we also supply the compressor valves and compressor related products like the compressor, you have the valves, all these stuff, right? So those things we supply. And we also have another division called Power Solutions where we support the off-road vehicles like the mining vehicles, e-steering, hydraulic wheels, all these things. And also currently we are supporting for the electric vehicle parts like the drives and inverters for the electric vehicles like marine, starting from marine to commercial buses, ferries, all these things like that. So this is a brief overview about Danfoss, and Danfoss is the headquarters available in Denmark, and we in India we have only one R&D that is available in Chennai actually. So apart from that, we also have sales offices available in almost all the states. Where in Bangalore, Chennai, you have in Mumbai, Delhi, Noida, all the places we have the sales office available actually. So that is one of the brief introduction. And today, normally the session, what I planned is like initially I was given an overview or application of the synchronous reluctance motor actually on different applications. Yeah, that we are using the variable frequency drives. How we are using the variable frequency drives. So probably today I'll have one short overview on how we normally do the testing part actually. So today I'll be taking you in one of the application lab. So in this lab I have different applications like water pumping applications in both like swimming pool water pumping application in a well how pumping is being done. And normally you have studied about the power electronics, right? The IGBTs or the MOSFET switches, right? So you have a static test, dynamic test like that actually in the static characteristics, dynamic characteristics of an IGBT. So one among them is the life cycle calculation of an IGBT. So how normally we will be doing an IGBT testing. So life cycle of an IGBT, how we are testing it here. And we have some test that involves the temperature actually. Let's say if you are supplying a drive that is having a feature that it will operate up to 50 degrees centigrade, right? So we are supposed to test the drive before delivering it to the customer actually. So we need to verify that whether the drive performance still remains the same at 50 degrees centigrade also. So from for different temperatures, we are supposed to verify the drive performance actually. So I'll be showing some of the thermal chamber that is available with us. So within the thermal chamber, what are the features that we can able to do it? Like we have an option to set the humidity. We have an option to go up to 100 degrees centigrade. So like different features we have it over there. And I'll show you one of the load bench actually, how we have a load bench here, and how in the load bench, how we are loading the motor, with LabVIEW software actually, and I'll show you what are the DACs that we have it here. That is data acquisition. We have it here. So today, as you guys know about, due to this Corona situation, we are still connecting through virtually, and here also we have similar limitations here. So I'll not be able to show the complete lab, but to some extent I'll able to show what are the major things that we are doing testing actually, or some part of the lab I can show it today. So if everything goes well, and if you guys can be able to come here, and if everything goes well, and if in case in future you guys are coming here, then you'll be taken to all the labs, and you'll be given a detailed overview on that actually, how these things are going, everything on that. So yes, we will start the session now. So first I'll take you to how normally a full pump setup will work actually. So what you see now behind me, see right? Can you able to see the setup right? So this black color one. So this entire thing is a full pump setup. So the top one is a chiller part actually. You have the blue color box like that, right? So those are the chiller ones. So I'll show it from the front view.
Sir, it is muted actually. Your mic it is muted, sir.
Sorry. I don't know how it got muted. So maybe yeah, this is what I was showing actually. So this is the full pump setup actually. Can you able to see the complete view of the full pump setup? So this is a complete view of the full pump setup. So where the top one represents the top one represents the chiller and compressor unit actually, and we have water pumps actually. That means a pool pump setup actually. This is a pool actually, water pool. So where the water will be sucked by this motor, and this motor and this pump will be connected to water pump actually. So that will be again pumped back towards the pool actually, water pool. And we have our drive that will be located over here. So this is our drive. So where we will be testing the performance of the pump, whatever we are using the pump, right? So whether the pump is working for, whether the pump is able to meet the flow rate, able to meet the pressure requirements, all these things. So this will be tested actually. So in the test equipments, normally we have different units like, so this is called as a pressure sensor actually. So this pressure sensor, we will be connecting it to our LabVIEW system, and we also have another unit that is our flow rate sensor actually. So maybe I'll show it a little near. So this is how a normal flow rate sensor will look like, and the red color one that represents the automatic control valve actually. So where in which you don't need to control the valve like manual, like see these are the manual valves. So this is a manual valve. I need to close or open. So whereas that valve is an electronic one actually. I can control that through electronic signals actually. Just by giving 0 to 20 milliamps, I can able to control the position of the valve actually in whatever the position. I can have it 10% open, 15% open. Some whatever the position I want, I can able to do that actually. So this is what we call it as a spaceship actually. This spaceship we normally use it for testing a pumping setup, that is swimming pool pumps. So these are the swimming pool pumps, we will be testing it in this setup actually. So this is completely filled with water actually, a normal water, and this pump is this uh, pool is a capacity of 2000 liters actually. So this is how we will be having it, and these are the different LabVIEW, and we have the power source actually available here for the pool pump actually. So we have the NI DACs available here. So where in which we will be acquiring all the NI related signals, and that will be coupled together by this KeyPlay instrument actually. So again, that will be sent back to the PC, the local PC, what we will be using it for the testing actually. So we have all this the supply panels. So this supplies the power for the drive, for the valve, and the switches I was showing, right? All the pump, everything will be supplied from this particular panel actually. So this is how the first equipment, that is the first testing equipment, that is our pool pump setup actually. So this is what we call it as a pool pump setup. So next one is like in the pool pump setup itself, we have an the pool pump setup itself, we have another auxiliary that is called as the uh, priming tester. So this is the priming testing. You can able to see this, right? So this will be as a crane actually. This will be looking like a crane. So where in which you can connect the pump here, and we have a control to lift the pump from 0 meters. That means from the lower ground level to the higher value of up to around some 30 meters. You can able to lift the pump actually. You can just move the pump up and down, and then you can able to perform the testing actually. So this is normally for testing the priming setup, whether the pump is could able to prime it or not. So that is what we will be testing in this particular test equipment actually. So for this actually, for this spaceship, we have a panel. See, this is a panel actually, where in which I can able to control the temperature. Let's say I want to control the temperature from 0 degree to 50 degrees. Let's say I can able to do this actually. I have two heaters and two heaters for one channel and two heaters for the second channel actually. Total I have four heaters and I have two cooling units actually. So those are the cooling units I was talking about. I can go up to minus 25 degrees and I can go up to plus 50 degrees actually. So this is the maximum capacity of this particular test equipment we can do it actually. So this is the first test I want to show you guys. And secondly, we have a load bench. I'll show you a load bench now. Yes. So this is the load bench what we it is connected actually. Currently I don't have any test motor connected. So this is a place for connecting a test motor, and this is a place normally a load motor will be connected. Now I have connected a load motor for as a PMSM. So I have a permanent magnet motor for connected as a load, and I have this as a torque measurement, and this is a shaft coupler. We have it here, and normally whatever the motor that I want to test it, right? So I'll be connecting in this particular chamber actually, this place. So then I will be testing it actually. So for this, I have a separate PC over here. So not only the PC, I have an PC, I have a NI DAC for this. So this NI DAC is used for sending the input. That is for the loading and for unloading purposes. I will be using this DAC actually. So this is how this DAC, and you have this particular PC is being used actually for this one. And again for this you have the power supply that will be coming from this California instrument. So one of the significant thing about this California instrument is that you can able to control the frequency and the voltage from 0 to 500 volts in AC actually. So that is the main thing. Both in AC as well as DC, I could able to program it actually. So this was this is a rating of 5 kVA, that is 5 kilovolt ampere actually. So this is capable of providing that much amount of power actually. So hope you guys able to see this power source actually. So this is how normally we have the power source for the instrument testing actually. So yes. So this is the second test setup what we have it here. And so third comes to a well pump actually. Probably I'll show it from here. Can you guys able to see there? It's a well actually. It's a well, and normally when there is a pump that is being immersed inside the water, right? So normally how we will be performing the testing is, right? So we will be connecting the pump like this actually. Can you guys able to see the screen? So this is a well actually. So that is being filled with water, and you have a pump that is available. The pump is being immersed inside the water actually. See? Can you able to see this? So this is a pump actually. So this pump is being immersed in the water actually, and that particular pump is being controlled by a drive that is kept outside. So this is a well, and similarly I have the control valve actually. See, this is an electronic control valve actually. With this you can able to turn on or turn off. So whatever it is you want, you can able to possible. And this is a booster pump actually. In case if some test cases or some testing that requires boosting of the water, right? So very fast or very slow of water actually, we have a booster actually. So this is called the boosting pump actually. So that is available here. And you have a different variants of pumps that could be connected. See, you have like let's say, see, you have like 3 or 4 pumps that can be connected together, and like at the same time, you've been able to test around some 9 pumps together actually. So it is not like you need to wait for another pump to be testing. So almost 9 pumps you can able to perform the testing at a single shot actually. So that is a very special equipment that we have got it actually. So this is for the well pump testing. So for changing of the motor or changing of the pump, we normally use this crane type. Probably you guys could be able to see this. I can move this, the pump with the safety perspective actually. I can move whatever the position I want. I can connect the pumps and then I can remove the pumps actually. So wherever I want. So you have all the hydraulic things actually fitted with this one actually. Yes. So this is a series of motors. Like you guys could be able to see this, right? So this is how normally we have it actually. We have a series of motors, we have a series of pumps, and we have a series of drives that are being available actually. So based on which model we want to test it, we will be picking up a drive, we will be picking up a motor, or we will be picking up a pump, and we'll be picking up a drive, and then we'll be flashing the software which we want to test it, and then we'll be placing it back actually. So this is how normally a complete pump will look like actually. You guys could be able to see this, right? So this is a motor and this is a pump actually. So this is how it will be. And this is a drive actually. Normally if guys could have not seen this, so this is a drive. So this is how a drive will look like. You have 3 terminals there, that is the input. And so you have another 3 terminals for the output. So this is how normal drive will look like, see here. So this drive will be mounted over the motor actually, like this. Like this. This will be, the drive will be mounted like this over the motor. This is how normally, this is a drive, this is a motor, and this is a pump actually. This is how this entire assembly will look like actually. So that I can give the input supply on these 2 terminals, then I'll be testing it actually. So we'll be flashing the software that we have developed, and then we'll be verifying whether the software is working fine or not. So this is regarding this. And yes, I have another equipment for you guys. So this is called as the simulator actually. So what actually a simulator is? Let's say if you don't want to test the motor directly, you don't want to test the motor directly with a high load or something like that. What normally we will do is, normally we will be developing some testing in the MATLAB, right? So similarly, so this simulator, what it will does is, it will not generate the complete current that is drawn by the motor. So this will have the low power and the low current values that will be drawing actually. So whatever the software that we are testing it, so we'll be first verifying with this simulator actually. So that it, for a safety point of view, you will not have any blast or something like that. Then we'll be going ahead with the main motor or with the higher power rating actually. So that's how we normally will do it. So you can find this, right? So this is a normal adapter what we'll have it. So with the normal 12 or 24 volts, we'll be able to test all the functionalities actually. So yes. So another one is like we have a flood test actually. So let's say I'll show you this. So this is a flood test chamber actually. So whatever I showed the pump right there. So I'll be keeping that particular pump inside this particular chamber. Then I will be inducing the flood actually. It is like whenever there is a flood actually, how the pump is whether that is immersing in the pump inside the water, whether the performance is still remains the same or not. So I already said like that. We have some IP pumps actually. Like let's say some pumps are capable of running even in the water when there is a water splash. So when even there is a water or something like that that is sprayed all over the pump actually, though we have the pump will be capable of running that particular performance actually. So that will be verifying with this particular setup actually. So we'll be connecting the pump over here, and the water will be turned on, and once that particular pump is set for some particular value, right? Let's say 500 gallons per minute. So that particular 500 gallons per minute has to be met even at the time of any flood, or even from the lower flood to higher values also. So those things will be simulated, and that will be tested in this particular equipment actually. So Yeah, we have this particular pump over here. So weather can be able to simulate for simulating this flood actually. So we have a drive, we have a pump and motor, and yeah, these are the different types of motors what we got actually. So one we have mainly like three variant pumps. One is XF, one is WF, and we have another one called as MEP. So these are the three different types of pumps that we got actually. So that will be capable of working here. Yes. So these are the different submersible pumps actually. So I was telling you there, right? So these are the different submersible pumps that we will be testing it here. So I showed the well, right? So we will be connecting them inside the well, and then we'll be testing those these pumps actually, these submersible pumps. So this is a soldering station. So normally when we are working on any hardware or something like this, when we want to have a soldering, right? So we have a basic soldering station here, and we have a major soldering one that is available in another lab actually. So we don't have an access for this now actually, but probably if time permits, we'll do it. So this is a normal soldering station will be available here. So if you want to do any PCB work or something like this, so we'll be capable of connecting or disconnecting any PCBs, and then we can able to work on the drive actually. Yes. So I'll show you one thing. This is how a drive will look internally actually. So these are the input terminals and these are the debuggers. Debuggers means like you can, when the developer, that means when the guy is writing the code actually for the software, so he will be able to write or flash the code inside this particular microprocessor or microcontroller. When he is running the code, right, so he can able to stop wherever he want, he can verify the code. So this is the drive actually, how it look like. And when I open this, I think I don't have an access. It needs some things to be opened actually. Yes, you will have the capacitor, inductors, all these things available inside this. So if I want to solder any of these measuring points, right? See, I have already soldered few of them. So like this, if I want to do it, I can utilize this particular setup. And this is the control card. So where I was talking about earlier. So this control card will have a microprocessor over yes, over here. So this is having a microcontroller over here and a microprocessor. We have an ARM processor here. So these are the two, one of the microprocessor and one microcontroller over here. So with these two things, we will be dumping the actual code actually. One for the application code, that means whether it is a pumping application, whether it is a water application, or whether it is for the motoring application. So which application that we are going to do it. Another one is for the MOC, that is the motor oriented control related applications. So like this. So this control card will be sending the input pulses to the drive actually. So with that particular input only, the drive will capture it, and then the inverter will start switching the pulses, and with that only the motor gets turned on or turned off, and whatever the speed reference that we are giving it, you can able to get it. And these are the debugger pins I was talking about. Can you able to see this, right? So the top ones actually, those are the debugger pins. So we have two one microcontroller, one microprocessor. So I have one for the microprocessor and I have one for the microcontroller. That is one for the motor oriented control, one for the application control. Like this actually, we have these two pins, and these are the communication cables actually. What I can, this is called as a D pin, where I can have it from the external wall to the drive actually. I can able to communicate to them actually. So this is the communication cable. I got it. So and another one is like we have this as a CDS setup actually. So this is similar to our the compressors that we are supplying actually. So we have drive. See, this is a drive that we are supplying it for the compressors actually. And to verify that whether it is working proper or not, see, you have the load motor and you have a load. That means you have a test motor and you have a load motor actually. So we will be running that particular compressor motor to verify that whether the compressor, all these things are working fine. So you guys might have studied about the resistor banks, all these things, right? So we have everything available here, and I'll be having a separate PC for this actually. So this PC is mainly to test the CDS inverter and CDS motor, all these things, and then we have to verify whether the test results are exactly as per our requirements actually. And for this, we have a different current sources actually. So these are the different current sources. Probably you guys might have not seen what is a current source actually. So normally voltage source you might have seen it, but current source is like you can set whatever the current you want actually. Let's say if you want to generate trigger 5 ampere or till 100 ampere, so this can go up to even 350 ampere actually. So based on the rating actually you can have all these values. Yes. So like this you can have these things. And yeah, before this I'll complete this. Yes. So next is the thermal chamber. So you can able to see this, right? So this is the first thermal chamber what we got it. We have totally 3 thermal chambers. I'll tell about the 2 thermal chambers later. So this is the first thermal chamber, that is VC4150. So where this is how the thermal chamber will look like actually. It will be like a closed environment. But in case if you want to verify the performance of any drive, right, or pump actually either, so we'll be keeping the entire pump or motor inside this, and then I'll be able to run the pump or motor from the external environment. So you can see that there is a water splash all over here actually. So we already kept a pump over here, and then we try to run the pump actually. So we'll be keeping a pump here, and then we'll be starting the pump and then running it. So for this, you have 2 pipes actually over there where you can splash the water actually. So see, these are the 2 pipes actually. Can you able to see this? 2 pipes. So those 2 pipes are used to splash the water on the drive, so that the drive is like verify the waterproof or not. And you can see that there are 2 fans actually. So you can blow a hot air or cold air or whatever you want. So you can set all these values. Let's say if you want to operate the pump at 25 degrees or 50 degrees, let's say. So you can specify the value in the GUI here. You have an LC, you have a panel here, so available outside. So with this, you can able to set the values, and then based on that, the fans or the pipes will be getting operated actually. They'll be flowing the water or these things actually. So another important thing about this particular thermal chamber is that it can operate, the maximum capacity is that from the minus 20 degrees to 100 degrees centigrade, and it can go up to 50% of humidity actually. So those are the major specification of this particular thermal chamber. So that is available here. And yeah, one important thing I would like to show you is normally how we have a power cord actually. So normally you might have not seen this power cord in your colleges or something. So this is a single phase power cord actually. Normally we will use it actually. This is called as an industrial power cord, and this is for single phase, and this is for the 3-phase connection. So this will be very heavy, and this has to withstand up to whatever the ampere that we are going to connect it. So this is a, I think, yeah, this is 63 amps actually. So this is a 63 amps industrial 3-phase power socket, and this comes with 16 amps actually. This is a 16 amps and single phase actually. So this is how normally we will be using as a power socket, and this is how a socket will look like, female port and then male port will look like actually. And yes. Now comes the
424.
Now comes the interesting part, that is IGBTs. So normally you guys might studied about IGBT, like IGBT is static characteristics, dynamic characteristics, all this stuff.
Yeah, please switch on everybody's video. Why again you are offing? Is it taking so much of bandwidth? Switch on everyone your videos. At least.
Yeah. So you guys
Okay,
might study
yeah.
about static and dynamic
Yeah,
characteristics.
I'm telling. Yeah, fine. You continue. I'm asking others. Yeah. Roll number 120, Rishita. Yes, now she was there. 112, Rajiv.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, 115, 128. 128. Rahul C. And our Raman, 113. Raman? Yes, Raman. Yeah. Who are your other friends? 125. I think they left. They find it very boring now. Please switch on your videos, everyone, those who are there. Yeah, continue. You can continue the presentation.
Yeah. So this is a IGBT. Normally, you guys have might studied about IGBTs. Will be that this right? So this is an IGBT. This is how an IGBT will look like actually. This is how normally an IGBT will be actually. When you come to an industry, this is how you see an IGBT. This is an IGBT, and I'll show you another one. So I was telling about an inverter, right?
Yeah. All that you skip. Yeah. Please go forward. We'll finish it. Introduction, don't keep that one slide and all. Please remove that. That was a template which was given. And keep the introduction very, very crisp, little. Okay, 2 to 3 bullet points. Come to the next slide. Problem definition.
IGBT or the
yeah, so you will basically have stop, yellow,
5 or
and
6
go.
IGBTs that will be connected together.
Yeah, please explain what is the problem statement.
Yes. So you guys have complete. I guess you should have completed the basic electronic devices, right? So in that you might have studied what is an IGBT and how a single leg will be connected. You have 2 legs. That is one IGBT in the top and one IGBT in the bottom actually. So this will be containing both one IGBT in the top and one in the bottom. And these are the terminals that you can take.
People who, those who don't switch on the video, I will put 0 marks for this review. And pending reviews, I will not take it up.
And yes, so this is another type of IGBT actually. So we have many makes of IGBT like Semicron, and you have another IGBT make from GE. So we have all different makes of IGBTs. So what now we will be doing here is like the life cycle test actually. We will be making the IGBT to withstand the maximum capacity. Let's say 16 amps or 20 amps, whatever it is. So with that particular value, so we'll be verifying how much time it is capable of running. You can able to see the timer, right? So with this timer, we'll be verifying how much cycles it could be able to withstand the temperature actually. So temperature or the current, we'll be loading it to the maximum capacity of the IGBT actually. So this is how normally we will be testing an IGBT and all the static and dynamic characteristics.
Yeah.
You can see that what is a cycle which is on, off, all the steps actually inside this. So this is a normal oscilloscope, and then we'll be measuring what is the current value, what's the switching cycle, when it is turned on, turned off, all these things we'll be seeing it. So how many number of switching cycle are IGBTs capable of turned on or capable of operating?
Just hold on, Manisha. In simple words, you tell me what exactly are you doing? I couldn't get the project. You are doing the traffic control management.
Compressor unit actually what we got it. So we have 2 compressor tanks, and then we'll be verifying whether the compressor, when there is a drive is on, right? So whether a particular amount of temperature or how much centigrade it could be able to withstand, and whether it is capable of operating that particular pressure, all these things. This is one of the prototype model what we show it for our customer, or when we want to verify the testing. So we'll be using this one actually. So
that's the working process, ma'am.
Sorry?
Sir, you can continue.
We can't see the working process, sir.
Which working process you want to know?
About this thing, sir.
The compressor unit you want to know?
Yes, sir.
So now currently we are not working it because some of the section we have closed it for the corona actually. So now it is not, we are not operating it actually. Inside this we are maintaining the temperature. You can able to see this, right? So this is maintaining a temperature of 25 degrees in compression, and we have another pressure unit that is maintaining around some 4 psi actually here. You can see that, right? So currently this is operating actually. We can able to modify what is the temperature we want to maintain or what is the pressure that we want to change actually. So these are the booster tanks that I was telling actually. We had a booster tank right there. I was showing in the well pump, right? Similarly, we have a booster pump available here actually. You got the point?
Yes, sir. You can continue, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. So apart from that, you have similarly, I said there is a power module testing, right? So we have a same kind of test setup that is available. Whereas the difference that makes is that, so just a minute. So whatever I'm showing here, right? So this is a single switch. That means we have two switches here, one leg actually. Normally, guys who have studied about an inverter, they might be knowing what is a leg actually. One switch in the top, one switch in the bottom. So one leg is this much actually. You have this one leg. This is capable of withstanding around some 32 ampere actually. So this is a capacity of one IGBT leg actually. So a complete inverter or the complete drive, that is three diodes, sorry, six diodes and six IGBTs. The complete drive without the DC capacitance will be tested in this particular setup actually. So you have the same kind of setup where you have the heat sinks that will be fitted to the power module. So this entire thing is called as a power module actually. So the power module contains a rectifier unit, the inverter unit, both the things. And for this, we'll be loading it to the maximum capacity or the maximum the IGBTs or the diodes. And then we want to verify how much life cycles it can able to withstand. So we will be having again the timer and all these units. See, you can able to see the timer running here, right? So like this, we will be running the IGBTs for 1 week actually. So the major, how much life cycle, let's say it can be withstand around some 10,000 life cycles or 20,000 life cycles. So how much life cycle is the maximum value a single IGBT or a single power module can withstand actually. So we will be verifying each and every parameter before we'll be putting into the drive actually. So each and every component, like starting from the power module, we will be verifying them everything, and then we'll be putting inside the drive actually. So that is one of the things, and we have another portable chamber actually. So this is also one of the thermal chamber actually. I was showing a thermal chamber right there, right? So like this is one of the portable thermal chamber. I can close this window or I can open this. I can put a drive or power module over this inside this, and I can program this circuit, and then I can able to run the thermal chamber actually. With this thermal chamber, I can able to go up to 25 degrees centigrade to the maximum value, and that is being operated with a single phase supply actually. So this is a major significance of this thermal chamber. So if I want to run the thermal chamber, I can do that in that one actually. So finally, I have got two more thermal chambers. So we are coming to almost conclusion. So can you guys able to see this, right? So these are the two thermal chambers available. So these two thermal chambers are capable of operating them up to 30 degrees centigrade and less than minus 30 degrees centigrade. The bigger advantage of these two thermal chambers is that so you can operate in the positive side also, in the negative side also. What it does is you have a cooling unit here. That is, this bottom contains the cooling unit. This top contains the heating unit. Let's say if I want to put some equipment inside this, and then if you want to operate that for 5 minutes in the heating mode, 5 minutes in the cooling mode, again 5 minutes in the heating mode, so you can do this in this particular test setup. So which is not possible in the other chambers. Other chambers are dedicatedly made for the heating actually. But this chamber you can do it for both heating as well as cooling. So you can see a motor arrangement there, right? So with that motor arrangement, the entire setup, the entire drive or whatever the unit that you are going to test it, right? So that will move up and down actually. So that will be like hydraulic actually. It will be going up and down so that you can able to test the setup completely inside this thermal chamber actually. So this is how we have the complete setup. I think I have covered almost all the things what we got it, and I have reserved the final 10 minutes for any questions. So in case if you guys have any questions, and then I can go back. Yeah, I have forgotten one more thing. So this is the resistor bank actually we have got. See, these now we'll be having a resistor bank. Normally, you guys might have seen in your college, but that will not be up to this much actually. With this, I can go up to 20 amps of resistance within just by switching on one switch actually. In a total, I can go up to 20 kilowatt and 80 amps is the maximum capacity. This can withstand up to 80 ampere actually. So that is the maximum capacity of this load bank actually, what we have got it. And this is operated in 3-phase and 460 volts actually. So yeah, almost everything, all the components. So this is the entire lab and almost I have covered almost everything. So you can have a complete view of the lab actually from here. Starting from the well pump. So this is a well pump and there is a thermal chamber and next to that is a load bench. Then you have the water pump setup. We have 2 thermal chambers and a load bench and you have the power cycle module testing and you have a CDS test bench. And finally, you have the motors that is being arranged all over here actually, over here. I think you got some fair idea like how we are actually having a lab setup and how we are testing it actually. So you got the idea, right?
Students, if you have any doubts, please ask the resource person. You can mute your mic, unmute your mic and ask the question. Sir, I'm having a doubt.
Yeah, sure.
Actually, in your laboratory, there will be a DAC arrangement will be there. So for voltage, what type of DAC you are using? It is 300 volt or 500 volt RMS?
No, we are having 300 volts, sir, actually.
300 volt.
Normally, I have not shown here actually, but we have that and the 500 volts, 300 volts, all these DACs that are available in the different lab actually.
Yes. Actually, I saw that is a 6 chassis DAP, I think. Okay,
yes.
It will be NI 9225.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. This is a 6 chassis, and we also have that. What is it? We have the 600 volts also over there actually.
Okay. So any other research is going on, sir, at present in your lab? In pandemic
Currently,
situation?
we have a few testing. Yeah, we have a few testing going on, but not on the LabVIEW side actually. We don't do any research on the LabVIEW side. We were doing it on the testing part actually. We are using the LabVIEW and test stand for mainly for testing our drives actually.
Okay. Because of our condition monitoring, you need a DAC arrangement for checking the testing methodologies. That is performance.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Correct.
Okay. So any other applications you are testing in your lab for any particular application?
Particular application means normally we are testing it for the pumps actually. Pumping application is our main focus actually.
That is for agriculture.
No. Not for the industry actually.
Okay.
For the sewage plant, 2 pumps or 3 pumps parallel, something like that. And apart from that, we have it for the conveyors. Like in case if the conveyor belts are moving, right? So we have a generic drive that is being used for all the industrial applications, like lift, conveyors, all these things actually. So the objective is that we'll be testing the drive, and that particular drive will be used for the different applications. One major application, water-related application, we tested actually.
Okay. So any other current project is going on?
Currently we don't have any projects, sir. Some internship from the VIT we are offering. Some people they are from the VIT, they are working on some internship projects actually. Like what to say? There is a control algorithm, right? We have it VBF control, right? So the students are working on is there any performance improvement on the VBF control or VVC plus control, so like that kind of things, and some application related stuff like for the pumping itself, if any parameters could be changed so that the efficiency could be improved or something like that. So it can be it differs based on the person, but some people are working mainly on the application on the pumps, and some people on the control algorithm actually. So that's how people are working. And some people are supporting on the automation also. That means the LabVIEW and test stand also. They are supporting on the LabVIEW and test stand. So how the LabVIEW and test stand, how people are there is being done also. Yes.
Okay. Sir, any other opportunity for the students community?
Currently, I don't think so, sir. Maybe I can talk to our officials and then I can get back to you. Is there any opportunities or something like this?
Okay.
So, majorly, like what we are doing is like on the drive side. That is our. You have the variable frequency drive, right? The diode, DC link, and the inverter actually. So, in case if there is any work related to that particular part, if people students are working right, they might get some good opportunities actually here. For I'm not sure about the internship. For maybe for the job perspective. So this might be the expectation actually.
Okay.
So in case if the guys resume matches the requirements of the position, right? So surely they will be considering
Okay. What is the requirement to join in Danfoss for a B undergraduate candidate?
Again, so again, it is based on the job profile, sir. Actually, in case if there is any vacancy on the power electronics, right? So their expectation might be on the diode and the mainly on the drives actually. You can concentrate on the complete drive, like how a diode will work, like how a DC link will work, like how an IGBT will work, like so how normally to control a motor, what basics of a control algorithm. So I was taking that lecture right in the day before yesterday's session.
Yeah.
How complete arrangement of the drive actually. So since it can be a BTech or MTech, they will be asking the questions in the relevant basic stuffs only. So in case if the profile requirements matches the candidate's resume, right? So for sure they will be considering actually.
If you have any clarifications, please unmute your mic and speak to resource person now, because this is the right time to talk. Please unmute your mic and speak. Raise your question. It is like interaction. Okay, please unmute your mic and talk. Any queries? Anirudh is here. Anirudh, Nishal, Dinesh, have any doubts?
No, sir.
Yeah,
No, sir.
like air cooled and water cooled chiller. Air cooled, water cooled chiller is like I'm not good in the chiller part. What is an air cooled and water cooled chiller? But I can tell you what is an air cooled drive and an air cooled water cooled drive actually. So I was showing IGBT, right? So IGBT will have a heat sink actually. That heat sink, whether it is cooled with a medium of air, that is called as an air cooled drive. So when you have an arrangement to cool the IGBT with the water, right? So we call it as a water cooled drive actually. So maybe in the chiller part, I don't think so. We have air cooled and water cooled chiller. I think it should be the same actually. For you have a drive available there. So with that drive, you could be able to cool the drive with the medium of air. It should be an air cooled, and it should be, if it is capable of cooling with the water medium, it should be a water cooled chiller. So yes.
Sir, actually that student is raising the question in terms of what is the cooling mechanism of the drive. That is a question, I think.
Okay. So yes, we have both air cooled and water cooled drives. Some variants like I showed different variants of the drives, right? So some variants we have it the drives with the air cooled facility, and some drives we have a drive with water cooled facility actually. So like the compressors and like the water related equipments, they require water cooled drives, and some equipments that are used in industry, they will be using as air cooled drives. So that's how it makes a difference between the drives.
Okay. Sir, any other special drive you are using in your lab?
We have a special drive in the sense all the drives will have the basic functionality as we have the rectifier, DC link, and inverters. But different based on the different application, whether it is going for a water pump, it differs only on the application point of view, not on the drive point of view. In the drive point of view, we have different topologies. Like we don't use a multi-level inverter. We normally we are using a single-level inverters for all the drives. And on the rectifier section, we have different topologies. A normal three-leg, we have uncontrolled switches, that is a diodes, and that is one topology. And we have IGBT switches also in the rectifier sections, so that we want to control the current on the both the direction, bi-directional, towards the grid as well as from the grid to the utility actually. So different topologies are also available on the rectifier side, but not on the inverter. We don't use different topologies. We are still not into a multi-level concept, sir, actually. Only on the single level, we have a bi-directional switches. We have it actually. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Students, any clarifications? Anyone? Any clarifications, or we can wind up the program? Any clarifications, students? Anyone? Can you please unmute your mic and speak?
No doubt, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, okay, sir. Thank you for your valuable presentation as well as the explanation given by you. Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll see you. Okay,
Thank
we'll
you
see you
for
in
the effort, sir.
another session. Okay.
Yeah, sure, sir. Sure. Thank you all. Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Bye-bye.